Hi.
We're good.
All right, guys, I know we introduced ourselves, but before we get into it, can each of you share a little bit about what your role does in the day to day, a little to kind of set the scene?
Okay. So I'm Renata Bokel. Hi, guys. How are you? Hope you have a wonderful morning. I'm the CEO of McCann. I take care of 600 people in the advertising agency. It's one of the biggest in Brazil. So my life is pretty busy.
And hey, everybody, I'm Jeff. I'm the Global Chief Experience Officer at VML. And so I look after the way data, technology, innovation all come together to build experiences for brands and for customers. So I'm excited about our conversation.
Wow, that's a lot. All right, guys, so we all know AI is the hot button topic. Can you kind of share your thoughts on how you feel AI is going to help with efficiency, create new roles, and just for all of us wanting to educate ourselves more about it as it evolves?
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is on everybody's mind at the moment. I think our clients, some of the biggest companies in the world are all trying to figure out what does AI mean to a marketer? And right now, thanks to Sam Altman, everybody's worried it's about taking jobs away. When I think of AI, and I think about, the people I work around, they're the first to complain how long their days get by typing too many emails. I had to, pump out a bunch of banner ads. They do a lot of tasks to get in the way of why they came to the industry, which is to be creative and to think about innovation. And so right now, a lot of the conversation is how to be more efficient so that we can be more creative. And I think a lot of the conversation is beginning to shift towards not just less jobs, but more abundance. So we're looking at how AI can drive a better day inside our workforce, a better marketing outcome for our clients. So I think it's exciting. I don't think it's terrifying at all.
Yeah, I think AI is going to unlock a lot of new roles and new things for us to do. I think, of course, efficiency is a thing, but I don't think we should be afraid of AI because our role is to be creative. And so far, AI can be creative, but not human creative. So I think for us, it's our jobs is going to be more easier, more efficient, less boring because sometimes what we do it can be done by a machine. I used to work for IBM before I worked for McCann, and there was Watson, and Watson was a thing like 5 years ago. And the thing Watson did was like to cut the boring and the repetitive part of the work. So now I think our professionals can be focused on what matters, what in solving real problems and like writing the future. So I agree with you. We should not be afraid. We should be excited for this new times ahead.
And I feel like you both touched on a good point. A lot of people fear that it's going to take the creative aspect, but nobody can ever replace the human experience of like coming with the ideas. And AI is really just going to help us like spearhead that and speed that process up so we can get back to the more fun, creative stuff, but answering the emails or kind of fine tuning copy for something. Yeah.
Spreadsheets. I think the less fun part of our jobs because there's always spreadsheets, there's always emails to answer, there's always like bureaucracy. So we can like leave the AI to do this, and I think we can speed up some ideas. We are not starting from the zero. I think this is one of the most fun part. I think if anybody did downloaded ChatGPT on your phones, it makes your life easier. I think it will make our jobs easier too.
Yeah, I mean, I would just build and say I wasn't a creative. I didn't go to design school. I was an engineer, and now I work in a creative agency, and I've always wanted to be a part of the creative product. And now, I can collaborate with my computer, and I can begin to generate images. I can start to tell stories. All of a sudden, I feel unlocked, not like something's being taken away. I have a creative partner. I can create a persona, and I can communicate with it. I can begin to ask how somebody might feel, and I can begin to correspond. Now, this doesn't replace collaborating with real people. But it is nice to have a creative partner on my desktop now and see where it can take me as an individual and then where it can take teams. I mean, I think it's an exciting time.
Yeah, we love to bounce ideas. And then another cool thing that's come up is like we have the removal of cookies. So getting that first party data and figuring out who our consumer and who our audience is going to be, I feel like, a challenge. What are some ways that you all are kind of seeing people start to retain that first party information and like get all that?
Yeah, you can go, but I think here in Brazil, especially in Brazil, we will face a new reality because we will have to take control of our data to know our customers. But this is not new, right? We knew that it was gonna come. So I think to have control and know what to do with this first party data, because sometimes you have a lot of data and you don't know what to do about it. So maybe AI can help us like collect and like filter the data. So that's why I think it's going to be a good combination to collect the data and like to put them in the right buckets so we can send the right message to the right person at the right time. So this is not new, but I think we're going to have some help right now.
Yeah, I think on the conversation of data, especially with cookies going away, like the norms that we've had around how to identify somebody, how to communicate with them are changing. And I think we've lost a little creativity about how to then personalize or engage when we have less visibility. But what I see companies beginning to do is get really smart with new ways to engage consumers and new ways to collect data. So, importantly, an experience isn't just about personalization. It isn't about knowing who Jeff is, because Jeff changes throughout the day. So, if I'm thirsty and I'm hot, I'll go grab a drink that my demographics in my history will never tell you that I would do. So, circumstance matters, personalization matters. And right now, there's so many new signals, there's so many new ways that the world is communicating with a brand that if all you do is focus on what did I lose with cookies, you're missing the opportunity to put QR codes on cans. You're missing the opportunity that a connected car can give you to identify where it's at. You can miss so many new signals. So it's really, I think it's about first party data, but I think it's just about thinking about what are new ways to collect data that helps understand circumstance and environment and gets away from being so stressed out about knowing who Jeff is or who Renata is. And you can kind of rethink. So when we think about future of marketing, I think there's a whole creative renaissance just around what actually is the data we need. And given so many new sources of input, how creative can we be with activating data we don't have and creating new data that we've never thought about before?
Don't you think we're going to unlock a new era for CRM and loyalty programs? Because it's going to be like huge.
Well, what's happening is customer data is becoming paramount. And so, companies that really operate around first party data have the keys to the kingdom because they can enrich that. But you're also not limited by that. We work with a lot of companies who are still embarrassed about the size of their CRM database. And there's just really innovative ways to think about building new customer relationships and getting creative with that. So, yeah, I think CRM companies are at the forefront of experience, but you're not limited by that either.
Yeah, like it's really forcing people to really get out there and, like you said, personalize, get to know who their clients are, and actually explain what that data is used for. And like you said, give examples of like instances of like trying to figure out like their shopping habits for summer or for different things like that. Instead of being like, oh yeah, we just need this data at the end of this thing for a survey. It's making them explain like why they're doing it and kind of personalizing it and kind of create and
Yeah.
build that trust in that moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like another thing that we're also seeing is content constantly changing for consumers, whether it's short form when creating like short ads or sponsored things like that, to we're now seeing brands do like long form, like we've seen like Hilton Hotels do that 10-minute one on TikTok. Do you guys feel like we're gonna start seeing more of that, brands looking for more long form things on these kind of like short form type platforms, or do you kind of see it being a mix?
Yeah, I mean, I think storytelling is the palette has never been wider and never been more misunderstood at the moment. I think, really thinking about how to tell your story can take so many different forms. Certainly, if you're thinking about social, you have to be really quick, you have to stand out, you have to know what you stand for, you have to be authentic. But I'm also fascinated by spatial design at the moment. I know there's, I don't know how many of you have used an Apple Vision Pro, but I'm not sure the hardware itself is where it needs to be, but the experience when you put it on and you think about how quickly processing speed and connectivity are accelerating, what's a bulky headset is quickly going to turn into something very wearable. And if you look at the experience through that lens, all of a sudden it opens up your mind about what storytelling could actually look like. I mean, it's a very different experience to be augmented with reality, being surrounded with a different reality, and
Wow.
thinking about that, becoming more of something that you live with on a day-to-day basis, massively opens up storytelling in a number of different ways. And so I think right now we're so used to content on a phone that we might be skipping the beat about where content and storytelling could be going really in the next few years. So I think it's an exciting time.
I'll separate my answer in two parts. The first part of the platforms and like TikTok or whatever, whenever your brand is there, you know, you have to have a strong brand because nowadays it's super easy for you to lose your POV. So if more than ever, you need to have a strong brand to sustain your persona at the platforms, the social media, because everything is so fast. Everything is you need to be engaging. You need to be, I don't know, funny. You need to be, I don't know, have tons of followers, or you have so many KPIs, and if you don't know what you are and who you are, you're gonna lose yourself. You're gonna waste a lot of money, and that's why nowadays we are like very responsible building brands in the social platforms and on immersive experience. Another thing is that the thing that you bring out of the regarding experiences, I think we have a new bright future to spark emotions from from our customers. If you give them unforgettable moments, virtual, real ones, I don't know, you tell me, you're gonna be relevant and meaningful in their lives. So I guess we have to go back to the basics to bring the future to them. So once you bring this kind of immersive, amazing, exclusive emotion or experience, you're gonna be meaningful to them. So I think we have this. You have to be to build a strong brand to survive in this jungle that we're like going through. Like every day, a new platform, a new social media, a new way of like communicating. So you have to build a strong brand, and also you have to know your customer to give them this new kind of experiences that are meaningful, that are like exclusive, or I don't know. So I think but we have to go back to the basics to build a strong brand, to be able to know your customer and to give them what they want.
Yeah, like I feel like you both touched on a good point. Like brands and stuff really need to be honed in on who they are, because as like the Vision Pro and VR and other things come out, it's so quick and easy to be like, oh, let's go ahead, let's jump on this. But if it doesn't really align in that moment or make sense, you're jumping into something before you could truly flesh it out and make it into something that truly flows into the rest of your content, other social channels.
Yes.
So it's really important, like you said, we're not take that step back and really think like, okay, does it make sense now? Or if this brand wants to partner with us, like, are we all on
Yes.
the same page before we activate?
Is my audience there? I'm gonna talk to my why. So that's why I always tell our clients. So are your brands prepared to jump in this subject or to jump in this trend? So be careful.
Yeah, I think I think marketing gets quickly paired with the medium all the time. I find that a lot of people think, well, oh, marketing is creative, or it is commerce, or it gets very attached to that. Marketing is about growth. It's about finding new ways to grow. And I think if you strip it all the way back and begin to think about what are ways for this brand and my company to grow, how creative can I be with new channels? That's what the moment calls for. Because if you pair it all too tight, you chase trends. You're just doing AI to follow AI. You're just doing spatial, or you're collecting data, or you're paying for paid media simply because that's what the industry told you to do and you've paired it up. Marketing is a really creative growth exercise. And I think if you strip it back now and just think about what does it take for my brand to be authentic? What does it take for my products and services to grow? What does it take for me to serve customers well? The best companies then figure out how all the mediums come and support that idea. So you really have to begin to decouple and not say marketing is advertising, marketing is not digital marketing. It's just marketing is growth. And you have to rethink about it in the purest sense of what marketing has always stood for.
We
Yeah.
sell products.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
We sell products.
So, yep.
No, yeah, because you can hurt your brand and you can hurt everything if you just are quick to jump because this business and that company are doing AI or AR or
Yeah.
whatnot. Really have to take that step back and really tell your consumers, clients that like, hey, does it make sense right now? Let's wait a minute. And then also the other thing for my last one is the personalization. I feel like now consumers, when they're talking to brands or companies, they really want to feel like they're aligned with their same values and their same things, and feel like they're not just being sold at, but part of the community. I know we've seen people do the pop-ups, other activations, community dinners. Do you feel like we're going to start seeing more of that also, like where people are trying to really personalize things to the brand and really bring them in?
I mean, I think what people want is an authentic connection. And so I think what we're beginning to find is, between the pandemic, between people staring at their phones or social media too much, so much so that they self diagnose, I'm staring at my phone too much. I think everybody's looking for just a better connection. And so, what personalization to me, or even brand community building, is just knowing what you stand for, knowing what the person you're trying to serve stands for, and building experience around that a little bit more. So, I think what is a dangerous game is to just try to personalize. I think personalization is a relationship. You don't treat every relationship the same way. I think it's really figuring out what's your voice, what's the right time and place. I don't need my toothpaste to play a prominent role in my life. I need it to be right sized. And so, I think what's really getting tuned is what do people need in their lives? How to embrace it? What's the role a brand can play in that, and be authentic to that overall? That's a better pathway to those kind of experiences.
Not even in your life, but in your community, maybe, so you can broaden a little bit of the role of the brand in your community. So I think people are, we have a lack of relationship nowadays. So I think the new generation. I have a kid. He's 17 now, and he spent the whole teenage era in at home because he was 13 when the pandemic came. So of course there are side effects of that. Of course he will be more addicted to his phone or to his like games or to his like I don't know console. I don't know, but we will see lack of interactions and I think this kind of screens are making us more I don't know. With our we will try to make we'll have to make a way to find this connection again because I think people now are we are remembering how we work together. We are remembering how we stay married. We're remembering how we go to school and be present. Like I don't know how many of you try to move to a full week in the office. And so we are remembering how we used to deal with each other. So, and we were hiding from our emotions. I think brands can help us to unlock these emotions and unlock and be more and help us to interact more. I believe in human touch. I'm a hugger. I met these guys today in person. I hugged them. So I think we're gonna have brands have a role right now to support humanity. I'm a dreamer to help them to strive this this dark ages that we've been through.
And I feel like a lot of times too, brands are like, "Oh, I don't really know what they're looking for, what they want," and it is easy at starting with social listening, like checking to see like what are people responding to the newsletters or on social media about stuff. Like I feel like that's like a really key indicator right there too, where people are trying to figure out like what's next, what do they want? Do they want like a hybrid type thing where it's online and offline? And it's starting with things like that where it's so simple, just like kind of checking through and like reading and seeing, oh, this is what people want versus like kind of just assuming and you're not getting that reaction or and people don't feel like it's personalized.
Yeah. I think personalization, we spoiled our customers right now. So brands are really spoiling everybody. So when you turn on your Netflix, when you turn on your car, they already know where you're going because of this 9 o'clock. So you're going to work. So I think we have tons of good sides of the technology, but we also have to take care, and we have a responsibility as brand keepers to make this with responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe to pull a bunch of themes together, it's never been better to be online. I mean, it's easy to demonize. I'm the one who just said a minute ago I spend too much time on my phone, but in many ways, my trip to Rio has been better because of it. I think where this goes is just not thinking of just um, social as a place to build community, not thinking of CRM as a place to build community, but if you really want a shared experience, there's lots of great ways to do that. You can now, build experiences in a city. You can augment them with devices. You can put your brand in them, but in a way that's not too strong. I think there's really nice ways to build that connection that everybody's dying for, but it requires you to think kind of cross channels and in new ways and talk to startups like I've seen already walking around on the floor. There's just new ways you have to connect dots. And in that, I think there's some magic for where, communities will be built or where connection is felt. And so I think that's what's ahead of us. I think it's exciting.
I love that. Well, thank you both so much, and
Thank you.
you
Thank
guys
you.
made
It
us inspired to
was a
look forward to
pleasure.
25.
Thanks, Colin. Yeah,
Thank
appreciate it.